All right, so what's going on, everybody? So I talk a lot on this channel about the information warfare that we are living in. Now, I just came across this term today, and I just want to share this with you, but this term is being thrown around a lot recently, the fifth generation warfare. General Flynn is coming out with a book, and many people have studied this topic in depth, but it just came to my attention today. Now, let me just take a quick step back. This channel, if you've been following me for a while, focuses on equipping and encouraging the body of Christ so that they are aware of their faith, their own relationship with Christ, but also how to interpret and understand the times. 2 Corinthians 2 says that we should not be ignorant of Satan's devices, lest he should take advantage of us. And so we have to be aware of what is going on around us so that we are not deceived. We are not taken aback. We are not being led astray, and so that we can focus better to fight this spiritual war. And so there is a tangible association to the physical. Now, right off the bat, I'm not an expert in this area, but I want to give you at least a brief introduction. I came across this website that was referenced in another radio broadcast I was listening to, and it was from this website called Gray Dynamics or Radio Research, and they do a pretty good job giving at least a brief introduction. Now, like I said, General Flynn is coming out with a book that has not been released yet, but this is talking about it. I will also quote something that he has said in a recent interview with Roman from the Epoch Times, and he says a couple of quotes, and I want to just start off by telling you this quote. So he was asked, what is fifth generation warfare? He says, quote, "It's not a new form of warfare, but it's raising its head because people are looking at what are the elements of warfare that is being imposed on society today." And I'm going to go through what the first through fifth generation warfares are in a little bit. But he says, quote, "If I call it a war of narratives where there is a distraction, there's deception, there's truth, there is some physical aspects of it. There are certain adversarial elements within it that are not normal, what you would describe as military type capabilities. Media would be part of that, propaganda." And then he goes on to say that smart leaders, smart generals over the history of time have always used distraction, deception, untruths, and mixed with some truth. And he specifically names the global reset, right? That's absolutely public now. The World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, the United Nations, the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, as being part of this effort that is, if you've followed my other recent video about the detail in interpreting the times, I talk about centralization. These groups are using centralization, consolidation of power and influence to be able to have an authority and an influence over you. And so this is the way that the Antichrist will have sometime before the Christ comes back and all of these things. This is how he's going to use his authority to be able to deceive you and to take control from a spiritual sense through the physical means. And so we have to be aware of this. And so in this fifth generation warfare, this website, Radio Research, is stating the definition. So it states that fifth generation warfare is defined by data-driven, non-kinetic military action designed to take advantage of existing cognitive biases and create new cognitive biases, or the deliberate manipulation of an observer's context in order to achieve a desired outcome. Fifth generation warfare technologies have advanced to the point that when applied correctly, their very use has been concealed. In many cases, simply understanding who is behind a fifth generation warfare attack is impossible. This means that a fifth generation warfare conflict can be fought and won without a single bullet being fired, or even most of the population knowing that a war is taking place. The following technologies and techniques have often been associated with fifth generation warfare. What's important to note is that these technologies may be used to heavily influence, or completely remove the need for kinetic combat, okay? So let me give you a couple of these, right? It says misinformation, data-driven, so deep fakes, cyber attacks like honeypots, social engineering, social media manipulation, which is data-driven, decentralized and highly non-attributable psychological warfare like memes and fake news, mass surveillance, right? Open source intelligence, commercially available social media analytics, open source and gray market data sets, commercially available satellite/SA imagery, commercially available electromagnetic intelligence, cryptographic backdoors, and the other one, electronic warfare, with the rapid reduction in cost and availability thereof. And three things here: open source encryption, DeFi, community technology, low-cost radios, SDRs, quantum computers. Unclear if this is being used yet at scale. And so there's a lot of different technologies, right? And so let me also go back to what they describe as being the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth generation. And this is a brief description and how these generations or this warfare has been made irrelevant or nullified. The first generation warfare is ancient melee battle, right? So these are, swords and things like that. So they were made irrelevant by muskets, right? The second generation warfare, organized battle with gunpowder. So this was made irrelevant by blitzkrieg, right? Third generation warfare, mechanized warfare focused on speed and maneuverability. So was that made irrelevant? By terrorism. Fourth generation warfare is described as decentralized warfare that is being led by state actors, primarily kinetic. So how was that made irrelevant? The mobile internet network effects. And so this fifth generation warfare is now information and perception, primarily non-kinetic. And that is yet to be made irrelevant. So you have to come to the realization, right? Something that is unfathomable. You have to realize that there are certain campaigns and narratives and operations, psyops, whatever it is, that are being done intentionally to deceive you. It looks like this is happening, but it's being done to expose other things. People are saying this about the Trump, for example, the Trump announcement, right? Or many other things that are happening, January 6th, other false flags, whatever that is. All of these things, you literally just have to comprehend the fact that because we are in a fifth generation warfare, this is being played out by the media, by certain instigators to spread this far and wide. Whatever the objective is, that this campaign is not what you think it is. There's some things that are being made up and fake. There's some things that are being shown as being realistic. And because there is this battle going on. And so for you to take something, as I've always said, at face value and think that's the reality, that's what's going on. You literally have to fathom the possibility that there's a false sense of reality that you are living in right now. Just because you don't see it with your eyes, just because, gunshots and things like that are not happening, doesn't make it that this peace and the tranquility in the world, it is what it is, right? So I'm not saying that I know exactly what's going on. A lot of us are being played by misinformation. A lot of us are uncovering and are internet sleuths, right, and detectives to see what is really the truth. What is the real footage? What are the real things that people have testified as being what is really going on behind the scenes? So you have to kind of sift through that. But the point is that if you sit there and you still consume the major story because of the consensus view on something, just because somebody says something who says because of a fallacy, hey, I'm a doctor, hey, I'm a leader in this area, you should believe me, whatever it is, right? You have to realize that there are multiple angles that could be going on. It could be true. It could be a good actor, a white hat, saying something in order to flush out or to deceive you, but in the process, deceiving the enemy so that certain moves can be made, right? So this warfare that we're living in for the average viewer, the average Christian, the average person living in life, even though you may not fully understand it, you have to be aware that this is existing in society. Something that we are seeing is not what it seems. Something that is given to us, it may be the reality, but other people are suppressing it and censoring it. Other people are saying, hey, that's not what it is. You don't have the evidence, but there really was the evidence. And so you have to sit there and realize that this warfare is affecting you and me. This is the type of war that we are living in right now because we have internet, because we have connectivity, because we have all this data and information. We have people drafting stories. We have people saying things in a certain nice way and giving data or supposed data, like all of the economic indicators, all of the COVID data, all of the whatever that information, like how do you believe these numbers, right? Who made these numbers up? Could it be that it's actually fake? It's actually made up? How do you know certain data points, certain things, certain truths that are qualitative or quantitative in nature? How do you know that's actually true to begin with? It could be made up. It could be done with agreement at the highest level between the good guys or even conversely, with the bad guys, to tell you something that is absolutely not true. How do you believe in these things just because someone says it with authority? You could be living in a psyops war right now that is the fifth generation warfare that we are living in to influence your perception on reality. And so you have to be aware of this. I'm not saying that you should go out and just be doubtful and confused about life and just not take anybody's word for what it is, but just be aware of this and continue praying and asking the Lord, how should I take these things? Otherwise, if you are told something and you just go with it just because a couple of guys, 2 or 3 articles that you read said this is to be the truth, because your friends, your favorite pastors, and all these people are pushing it, doesn't necessarily make this true. And so this is what will happen in the end times, especially with the mark of the beast, especially with people bowing down to his devices. And so this is what a lot of us are trying to figure out. This is an important role to have. A lot of us are focused on our own individual things and sins and, how to live life and finding certain callings and how to raise your children and all these different things. Yeah, that's fine. But there are many of us that are just trying to make sure that we are faithful in understanding the times and the world. And as I've quoted in the beginning, 1 Corinthians 2, about do not be ignorant of Satan's devices, lest he should take advantage of us. So in this time, for many of us, we're trying to figure it out. A lot of prophetic voices, a lot of people that are really deep in research, a lot of other people that are just trying to motivate you, to encourage you to get through this time, because many of us are confused. Many of us don't know what to believe anymore. Many of us are trying to figure things out, but we are, like I said, in the midst of a war, of an information war. So just wanted to bring this to your attention, guys. This is just a brief beginning of it. You can go check out this website if you want, or read General Flynn's book when it comes out. But again, be aware of what Satan is doing. Be aware of the times that we are living in right now, because we have internet, we have information, we have data, we have all the type of research we can do, but that also can conversely be used against you. So God bless you guys. Love you guys. Talk to you guys very soon.